At the hottest podcast in the city, the smartest dumb people. I'm here with my nigga, that dude Johnson, you know what I'm saying? We go way back like 4 flats on the Cadillac. Y'all tune in every week or every time. Hit the like button, subscribe, do what you're supposed to do. Like, comment, share, tell your people about it. Y'all know what it is, it's the smartest dumb people!
See, man, when you get that type of money, he clearly sleeping with other people. So, like, this is a story.
This is the best podcast in the city of Omaha.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'm not pandering.
You know what I'm saying? And they take vocals and, script and they...
So I'm living on some hustle.
You're a real hustler, huh? That's pretty neat. Into it.
But I also met with
Team, they know she likes to go outside, play soccer by herself. We have to...
Team All's right. It's more than her female.
Right. Make sure... I want to tell you, like, Snoop Dogg, he's an icon in all facets of life.
The most biggest icon in the world.
But
I feel like they cheat stupid. They gonna get caught. Yeah, they cheat with their dick like we cheat with our mind. I feel like women.
no more. But before I let you explain that, I want to show a little clip of a little monster.
I'm on Pandora, YouTube. I'm on
The students and everybody. Carl.
I'm trying to find.
It is what it is.
Finally, we went to Dwight the Pimp. And Dwight was like, look, come on, somebody.
It's so immature to be like, what are you really doing with life as a 30?
No, there's two cats. No, you can hustle in many ways. There's two cats in high school.
This is the coldest fucking thing that's going on. Wall. These the realest niggas out
Yeah,
there.
you already know.
Like, for real, like, this.
God, I go off the mentality of the woman, and I know if I know my woman.
Smart dummy!
Let's go.
What's up, everybody? It's Say Something Sunday, the ladies' edition of the Smartest Dumb People, which is the best edition. And you guys need to tune in twice a month. We're going to do this at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time for everybody who's out of town. But I'm your host, Yo-Yo, and to my right is my host, Trees,
Hello.
the best makeup artist in Omaha. So definitely hit up her makeup page. And so today we have a special guest in the house, Carnell Alford. And he has a brother, Jameson Alford, and they're the Alford brothers. And they have this car lot that they actually operate out of Lincoln in. And so we're going to talk to him today about, just being a young black male, entrepreneur. Also, you and your brother developing this company together. And like, where did the idea come from? Who was your support? So I'm going to break it down a little bit for everybody so that they can digest the information. But Carnell, tell us, how was your week?
my week was awesome. I'm through it, no mishaps, so I'm kind of happy about that.
That's good. That's good. Trees, how was your week?
My week went okay. Just work as usual.
Yeah, I know. It get like that sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. But so next week you're going to have to break it up where it's not work as usual. You got to find something within that week to where you're not just...
I need more self-care, so tomorrow I'm going to take myself out for breakfast.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I need more self-care too. But the week for me, it's been kind of a somber type of a week because earlier in the week I had a health scare, so I had reached out to one of my buddies who's a doctor, a black female doctor. I'm glad to have her in my little orbit where I can call and ask her questions. And then my little cousin, I had talked to her a little bit about the health scare, but what kind of ended up developing through the end of the week, we had two women of the Omaha community that died of cancer.
Right.
And so we definitely want to bring awareness to that and to make sure that, the black women definitely go and get your tests done and your annuals done, your yearlies done. Yeah, because
colonoscopies.
yeah. Oh yeah. Early detection is key,
Yeah.
and I think it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month this month anyway. So we want to bring awareness to cancer and things like that. And we also have a newscaster here in Omaha named Waverly who has recently come out to let the public know she's battling cancer, and so she cut her hair because when you're going through chemo, you do lose your hair. Sometimes not all of it, but definitely like in, you know, big spots. So it's easier for women to shave their head completely bald in order to, you know, just not really worry too much about the different spots in their head or whatever. So it's easier to just shave all of your head. But so she made that statement. I think she looks beautiful. I think she does a great job on the news, and I think all the people in Omaha definitely need to support her, send her healing energy, because it's hard to live a regular life when you have to battle a terminal illness. So like saying, like if you had kidney failure and you have to do dialysis every other day, but you also have to go to work, you also have to raise a family, you also have to, you know, do other, you know, humanly lifestyle functions, but you have to do this in order to stay alive. So we have to give like praise to those people who can go through those battles without giving up, because both of these women fought really long and hard to survive as long as they did.
Yeah, I know with Monique, she was my Facebook friend. I did not know her personally, but she was very vocal about like her chemo, like all her cancer treatment, you know. She posted a lot on Facebook.
Just spreading awareness, because it is a big deal. And the biggest deal for black women is that we die at higher rates than other cultures. So that's why I wanted to, you know, talk about this afternoon, to bring awareness to the ladies going out and getting all their annuals and yearlies done, because early detection is key. In order to prolong your life. We all have to die, but that's just early detection is key to.
You can also do, you know, your self-check at home, your, you know, breast exam at home, kind of feel for lumps and all that stuff, ladies.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. And there's a lot of YouTube in these days, too, that can show you how to do it. So anyway, you go and get your prostate checked.
Unfortunately, it's about that time. I'm already hit 40, so actually got to schedule it real quick.
So and fellas, make sure y'all go and get checked as well. It is very important. It's nothing to be afraid of. Just find you a doctor that you're comfortable with and get it done.
And I heard they don't even do the whole finger check anymore with the guys.
I don't say word?
Yeah, I heard they don't do that anymore.
Okay, so they got like a line you can just pass real quick?
Yeah,
because
no more finger
every time
check.
I even think about it, we have like little beads of sweat real quick.
No more finger check from what I heard. Yeah.
That's amazing. Why does technology always progress faster for the male species than the female species? Because I feel like our exams are very invasive.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Can't be more invasive than a prostate check. And it doesn't get any worse than that.
No, I'm just saying we do go through a lot, but okay. So Carnell, tell us, so how you and Jameson came up with the idea that you want to start a car lot or a car salesman business.
Well, let's see. I've been into collecting cars since I was a teenager. So actually, when I was 18 and went to the Air Force, I was trying to get my dealer's license back then, and it was a difficult task because it was like this big secret, and so nobody really would tell me. So I waited till after my career, and I moved back home a couple of years ago, and I decided that that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I've tried a whole bunch of other things. I've had a whole bunch of other careers. I said, well, why not do what I actually want to do? So I went and got the information, and with the help of my other business partner, which happens to be my mother, we put it together, found a site, did all the documentation, and then raised the funds and got it knocked out.
Now the documentation, when they're asking you for documentation to be a car dealer, are they asking you to have like a certain credit score, a certain amount of collateral, or how does that document work?
Okay, so it's a couple of moving parts. One of the first ones is you have to have a building. And so you either have to rent a building or you have to own a building.
Okay.
And the building has to either be grandfathered in as a pass car lot,
Oh.
or you can take the commercial property and make it a car lot.
Okay.
Here in Omaha, they make it real difficult.
I see that because your location is in Lincoln.
Lincoln, we had actually my mentor. He owns the building that they're releasing from right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he really helped us get through a lot of the red tape.
That is nice to have that help.
Mentorship is key. Like I can't thank him enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the issues that we were having here in Omaha. We would find a building, and I would go down to city planning, and we would go have the meetings, and it would tell us, hey, this is what we need you to do. Shrubbery this many feet from the lot. This you need to have this many entryways, and so then it gets to the point where we're having arguments like, well, this belongs to the city.
Oh.
And so they're like, so when you look at the cost, it's like, well, man, that's like $30,000. So ended up, it felt like they were pricing us out.
Yeah, they was.
That's what it felt like.
They wanted to see, and so that's why I wanted to ask you about what is the type of money that the city is asking from you, when actually the city shouldn't be asking anything from you except for the sales tax on the cars. But the city is pretty dirty.
If they make it difficult here, I'm not gonna lie. It was difficult. Sometimes it's easier if you know people.
Oh yeah, and it's all in who you know, and people always say that.
Yeah, not what you know, who you know.
And that's very true. So one of the things we had to do was we had to have an architect draw up what the site would look like once we got there.
Yeah.
And so one of the architects kind of gave us an insight of what we could do. And that's one of the reasons why we had looked in Lincoln.
Okay.
That and we seen a posting for a place in Lincoln.
Okay.
But when I called him, he's like, "Yeah, you might want to look elsewhere."
Wow.
But it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be
So
done.
it's all about having that, tenacity and that support to keep going. Because a lot of people who would just start out, that initial city planning meeting, they probably would have backed out. Like, this is just getting ridiculous.
It seemed like they were trying to discourage us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just kept throwing this on top of that, on top of that. And, even because I felt the place that we originally looked at, which was car lot prior, should have been grandfathered in.
Yeah.
And then it's always some.
But they told you that, though. It just had to be a car lot prior, right?
And, well, that's what they tell you. But then when you get down there and planning, well, there's not enough feet. There's not enough for the space. And then you can do it, but tell you what, you go ahead and cut this sidewalk out. Have somebody put this concrete
They cold.
And then we'll let you know.
Oh, that's cold.
After you submit your plans.
Oh, that's cold. Oh, yeah, that's cold.
And at that point, you're like, okay, well, I'm willing to almost spend the money on this property that's not mine. I'll lease it.
Right.
But
and that's fucked up
get in.
because it's not nothing you own.
Right. And even if you did own it, after you buy the building, you do put your down payment, you making payments on it. It can really price you out if you don't have a line of credit.
Right.
Wow.
So because you still have to have the equipment to work on the vehicles. You have to find the mechanics. You still have to. You have to buy the product. You still have to buy the vehicle.
Yep.
So
you got to buy the vehicles, and then the way that the used car development is going is that they're not that accessible anymore because they kind of stopped making brand new cars because they're trying to transition everything to electric. But the used cars, they're like, have you guys ever rode past like Huber on 114th and Dodge or any of those other big car lots and you don't see any cars there?
Yeah.
So it's crazy because with you guys who are, CEOs, but these big corporations, they're also looking at the same places you guys are looking in order to make a sale.
Right.
So it's real competitive now.
Right.
It's competitive, but there's always a niche.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a niche. But you did hit a valid point. Electric cars, it's coming.
Yeah.
And with entrepreneurship, you better be ready to adjust.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
When things are going left, you're like, oh, okay, it's been going left for the last 30 years. It should be going. I promise you. I kid you not. It's going to go right. It's going to go right.
You hope.
And if you're not used to adjusting,
But and then I also have to be honest with you too. I don't think that, as far as like you and Jameson go, like really measure the amount of poverty that is around you, around your location. So a lot of people that are in that income bracket, they're still going to be looking for used cars that aren't electric because they can't afford the electric car. So there's a huge population that is going to still be looking for used cars and things like that. And even people our age who have 15 and 16-year-olds, I'm not going to go, when my son turns 16, I'm not going to buy him a Tesla or anything electric. Like, you still think, I'm still thinking about getting him a box Chevy or something that he can ride around in and wreck. Hell, I don't know if he's going to, I don't know if he's going to be a good driver or not. You know what I mean? But, so you still have that level of income as well before you have to adjust to the electric car world. But you are smart to already start thinking about that electric car, like economy and the products that they're going to be producing.
it's definitely coming.
So how did you get Jameson on board?
Well, my little brother's always been my partner since the beginning.
Partner in crime?
Yeah. I kind of raised him up, and so when he became an adult, I was like, all right, I want to return on my investment. Like, remember all the, come on, bro, borrow this real quick. So I want to return on my investment.
Mm-hmm.
See with my kids. I get a return on my investment.
Jameson, he's a good car salesman, though.
He is.
I mean, he's
really
really
looked up to
good.
have him as a business partner.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really smart. But I mean, he's really good about saying this is as low as we're going to go. Because sometimes they prey on a smaller car lot company in order to just Jew you down to the ground. But Jameson, he'd be flat out like, no. This is it. 2,500 is low as I'm going to go. And I already drove it here from Lincoln for you. You know what I mean? So he's good at, like his self-value and what he brings to the table. And he's like, no, you're not going to.
Because sometimes we're like, man, let's let it go. He's like, man, look, hold on. First off, fuel prices is $3.59 a gallon.
He don't be bullshit.
50 miles there.
Yeah.
And then we got to drive another 50 miles.
He good.
So,
he good about that, counting that money, though.
Man, let me
now
tell you,
he good about
my
that.
brother gonna count it down to the
down to the ground, down to that penny.
That was $152.32.
Yeah.
Plus my time.
Yeah. My time. You got to value my time if nothing else, okay? I done already drove this car down here for you. And this is it, Because me, I'd be like, feeling sorry for somebody. I can go maybe $102, $200 lower or something. But Jameson's like,
It's just business.
Yeah, business is business. And in that type of realm, too, that type of world. Now, do you guys find that now that you found the location and you're up and running, because when is going to be your full year?
Well, actually, we've been open for 3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah,
okay.
3 years.
So you guys been open for 3 years. Now, how long have you had that location? Has it been the full 3 years?
Yep, 3 years.
Okay. So, because I'd never see the location, I would just see Jameson with the cars and wanting to sell them and stuff like that. But, so now that you've been established for 3 years, do you find that you get other people asking you for information or wanting to network with you or wanting to figure out, like, where do you guys get your cars and stuff from? Like, do you find a bigger network of support or not?
We have, but that's something that I also seek out too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to have a network of people. It's enough. It's enough for everybody.
It should be. It should be. Some people don't think that way.
And well, you got to look at Omaha. You got Bellevue.
Mm-hmm.
You got Ralston.
Mm-hmm.
You have all these other surrounding areas. Mm-hmm. When you add up all these the areas, there's enough people to sell vehicles to.
Oh yeah, it is.
And I'm not just gonna sell here. I ship cars out.
I don't blame you.
Cars out of
I don't
Texas.
blame you. I don't blame you.
I'm gonna ship some. I sell classic cars too, so I'm doing eBay.
Okay.
So, like I tell some of the local people that I know, it's no competition. Any game I can give you, I'll definitely give it to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be okay.
For sure, for
Right.
sure. And it's also like a positive karmic type of thing too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You, whatever you put out, you will get back.
Yeah, you're gonna get it back
Definitely.
tenfold. Yeah,
Some people
tenfold.
might feel, sucker. Whatever you put out,
Yeah.
you will get back.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they tricking somebody or being slick, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get it back in karma.
Right.
Positive karma.
Yeah.
So the question of the day, you guys, I want to ask you guys, what level of income do you feel is just a survival income? Like, do you think it'd be like 20K, 50K, or 100K?
Oh, that's the tough one. I think that it depends. Everybody doesn't have the same lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I think your level of income, like what you need to survive, it depends on the type of lifestyle that you have.
It does.
Some people don't have a car payment. Some people might drive a Benz or, BMW, whatever. Some people rent and others have a mortgage. So, yeah, it just depends on the person. That term living above your means, like everybody knows what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Colonel?
I think it's changed so much within like the last 6 months, year and a
Cost of
half.
living went up
It looks totally
major
different.
way.
I know, just looking at utility bills, my utility bills look like a car payment.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yes.
Yeah. If not more.
My light bill was $522, and I was not happy about that.
That is just insane. It's
Those were 2
insane.
months.
It's
522.
insane. That's still insane.
Sometimes you let it roll over a little bit to the next month. They sent me that bill for 2 months. I was like, 500. No, it was 514.22.
Mm-hmm.
I gave them 350.
Yeah. And that should be enough. And sometimes in utility companies it's some little mobsters.
Yeah.
Cause they got me on some shit too. I was mad than a motherfucker, but they said this was perfectly legal what they did to me. But I said, okay, we gonna roll with it because
I quit all our utilities here at home. It's like Don King.
Okay.
Like you get ripped off.
Yeah.
Somehow it's legal.
Right.
Yeah, they tell you it's legal as fuck. Send you so many documents that it's legal.
And we can't
Like I
pay
guess when you robbed me, you didn't have a gun. So.
Yeah, you slipped in there. No, it's white collar crime. That's what it is. That's what it is.
But you
know what? To me, I feel like a survival income with the way inflation is, and I mean just for like the lowest level for everyone to live sort of in a comfortable way would be $100,000. And this is why I'm going to tell you guys that
most people don't even make that in a year though.
Some people will never make it, but what I'm saying is $100,000 is that survival income level. I'm going to tell you why it's a survival income level. First of all, there's a lot of people with student loan debt they could never get out of. And this is basically going to buy you maybe one of the smallest homes without a mortgage. It might buy you one of the oldest cars, but it's, it's functional, it's manageable. And then after that, you got to feed yourself or feed your family. Like, $100,000 is not a lot of money. And I think that is the borderline survival income for anybody to have. And I'm talking about even if you live in the projects, $100,000 to me is survival income. Now, to switch that up to what do you think a comfortable life income would look like? Would it be $100,000 or more?
Oh, that's so good.
And like Tree said, depending on your lifestyle and how you want to live.
And then it depends on you had children.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, you may want to put them in activities, sports.
Right. And that crack your head open all the time.
And
I don't have
run the numbers
that way.
So a family of 4, I would say a comfortable living, and depending on the city, would probably be about $500,000. And this is if you want to put your kids in private school. Like the Donda school, like we're going to talk about in a few minutes, we're going to talk about Kanye West and how he wants to co-parent and how he wants his kids to go to Donda and not that super sedity California school, but the Donda school costs, and this is for kindergarten to 8th grade, it costs $15,000 no matter their grade, and that's 1 year. And he didn't say if he had financial aid or scholarships or not, but it's $15,000. So, when I was a helicopter dispatcher, I put my son in a Montessori program, and it was the most wonderful program, just an eye-opening program for him. He loved it. It was $800 a month. The thing is, he could have went all the way to high school learning like that, but the tuition went up as the grades went up. And so I couldn't afford it anymore. So I had to put him back in OPS, but I also had to research what OPS schools were magnet schools to give him that same level of education and not give him a lower level. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm thinking like for a family, at least $500K, but like if you're single, you know, maybe $150 to $200K a year where you could be comfortable doing what you want, not stressed out, you know, basically not worrying about this bill, that bill, or how to pay this, or how to get the student loan people off your back.
Right.
Because rich people, their comfortable level might be $10 million in their savings. If they go under that, they feel like they're fucking broke. You know what I mean? And I think that we just need to elevate our level of, you know, how do we want to live, how comfortable, how lavish, and then how do we go out and get that, you know, certain amount of money. Like Treese was like, we was talking about, you know, jobs and how they're lowballing people, and she's just basically like, I haven't made that amount in years.
Backing off of what you said, like just being realistic, a lot of people don't ever get to that point to where they can live. You're literally just surviving.
I know.
So I think that's the issue.
It's horrible.
And then the wages for a lot of these jobs are not competitive.
No, they're
anymore.
not.
So I think since COVID,
They're
it's
lowballing
made a lot
people.
more entrepreneurs out of people.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have you would have to work like 2+ jobs, you know, just to live comfortable. And that would just to be in survival. That is just to be in survival mode.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're gonna segue this, and we're gonna talk about Kanye, his interview about co-parenting, and then his school, Donda, that he's opening up, and how he's talking about black men needing to have more of a voice, if not an equal voice, in the parenting decisions, as far as the legalities of the kids going to school, where they go to the doctor, and things like that. So most of the times, they do give it to the mom. But I just want you guys to check out this clip with Kanye's interview, and then we'll be right back.
Just last week, Ye claimed that he had never read a book. But based on our conversation, it's clear he's read at least one book, the Bible, at least in part. In our conversation, he frequently quoted scripture, including, "To whom much is given, much is required." And it seems that he is taking that literally, with plans to change music, education, fashion, and sustainability. And at the top of his list, he says he wants to be a hands-on dad.
Lights, flashlights, spotlights, strobe lights, street lights, all of the lights, all of the lights.
The spotlight has followed the artist formerly known as Kanye West for nearly 20 years, at times illuminating him as one of the greatest creatives of all time. But the light of scrutiny also shines just as brightly.
So social media, you feel, is that more hurtful or beneficial to you?
That's one of my favorite questions this interview. I mean, we can use a car to rush somebody to the hospital, or we could use a car and accidentally hit somebody while we're rushing somebody to the hospital. So it's all in how we use it.
Now, back up off my family, move your hands.
And that's how he uses social media, as a vehicle to amplify his voice. Something he says he's also had to do in order to successfully co-parent with his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian.
This is the mother of my children, and I apologize for any stress that I have caused, even in my frustration, because God calls me to be stronger. But also, ain't nobody else finna be causing no stress either. I need this person to be least stressed and the best sound mind and as calm as possible to be able to raise those children.
Do you feel you have a voice as you're co-parenting now?
I do have a voice, but I had to fight for it. That hurts you when you have to like scream about what your kids are wearing. And it's just little nuances where there was a parallel to what was happening at Gap, what was happening at Adidas, and what was happening in my home. It was all a kind of a disregard for the voice of something that I co-created. I co-created the children. I co-created the product at Adidas. I co-created the product at Gap. There's a parallel, and the parallel does touch on discrimination.
Even within your marriage?
Yeah, I want my kids to go to Donda, and I have to fight for a say-so.
Donda Academy is a private school he created, named after his late mother, Donda West.
We spread the gospel. The kids sing gospel to build a school that gives kids practical tools that they need in a world.
He recently turned to the tool of Twitter to post the termination of his Yeezy brand collaboration with Gap as he remains in an ongoing legal battle with Adidas. How do you move forward?
Okay, so Kanye was talking about how, he's, living this new life, new leaf on life. He's, don't want his baby mama stressed out. I should say his ex-wife. That's not his baby mama. That's his ex-wife. And he was talking about how he wants to basically have his kids go to his school, Donda. This is the part of the interview I want to talk about. But he's having a difficult time with Kim and her mom. And so I just want to talk to the panel today about, like, what do you guys think about, if, one person wants the kids to go to this school, one person wants the kids to go to that school. Like, how do you compromise that?
That is a tough one. I do believe that fathers should have equal rights. That is what the courts are for. When you cannot come to like an agreement, I think the judge is going to look at it like for what's in the best interest of the children. I can see where he wants the kids to go to his school. Yeah, it ain't always fair,
You would be surprised.
About what? Where the man wants the kids to go to school?
No, as far as them being fair and impartial.
Yeah, sometimes it's not.
Males.
In Nebraska, I think they favor the mother more. To be honest,
Did you have your issues in Nebraska or Texas?
Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not always fair.
I could. You can have. Your cousin could be Jesus. Okay? And they'll still be like, no, I still feel like sure the mother. Yeah, this is not fair.
Well, I didn't have that luck because, the judge was actually on their dad's side versus my side. So I had to go and basically pay more money in order to prove my side. There was kind of a bias in our case.
Yeah.
So, I had to end up spending extra money in order to get the case to work out the way that it needed to, because I already knew as far as their basic mental well-being and mental wealth and health and stuff like that was going to be compromised if they weren't with me most of the time, just because I wasn't so codependent on her and them getting in a relationship. So there would be no other person in my house basically as a romantic partner until my children were basically de-traumatized by a lot of the things that went down. And so I just felt like they had more structure and discipline with me. Now, if I was just a off-kilter ass bitch on drugs and shit like that, then of course they need to go, with their dad and be with their dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think in Kanye's case, I think the kids should go to his school.
I definitely agree with that. And not just because he's a man, but because he put a lot of time and thought into it.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely for his kids in education. He don't want them going a certain way. There's a certain way that he wants his kids going. And I believe that they talked about that before they even had kids. because they were friends before Kim and Kanye.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah,
I
they
was
were.
about to say that is very, very important. I'm not saying that you won't run into situations like this, but it's really important in like when you're dating somebody, even before you get married, to talk about all those things. You know, what kind of parent are you? That really, really matters. So you don't end up rushing into things, having kids.
It does matter. It does matter.
It's it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
People change.
But in his case, he said that his school is basically kindergarten to 8th grade, and they're going to learn, you know, the gospel, music. They're going to learn about the truth of Jesus.
But he grew up
you
in
know,
public
things
school,
like
didn't
that. Yes, he did in Chicago. And
But his mom was an educator.
yeah,
And
she was.
cold.
She was, and that's why he
She
called
cold.
his school Donda after his mom.
Right.
But he said they're also going to learn carpentry. They're also going to learn a lot of life skills that you can't get out of these, you know, white structured form schools.
I agree.
So it's going to be a complete, like, whole rounded experience at this school. And I believe his kids need it the most because of their nannies, because of their privilege, because of their money, and because of their ability to be able to hire anybody to do any fucking thing that they want done. If they want somebody tying their shoes every time it comes untied, they can pay a human to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's saying no. They need to bring their black asses to my school so that they learn life.
Right.
And not just some bullshit, you know, just going here and there, basically paying to upgrade their level in school when they really need to be earning it.
Right.
By writing the papers, by reading the books, by doing, you know, the work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. My phone's not working. Is there any comments in there?
No.
Okay.
Just from Anthony.
Oh. Yeah, Facebook is really like tanking our show. But anyway, we're going to keep going because we're going to upload this to YouTube later. But the second topic I wanted to bring up is the myth about the independent women. So I want you guys to check this clip out and then we'll be right back.
Where this conversation gets out of whack, I think there's this misnomer that most women who take care of themselves, are single, and are independent don't want to be with a man who is a leader. And it's just simply not true. I want to be with a man who I can trust to lead me, who thinks enough of me to explain decisions to me that I don't understand. And even if ultimately I don't understand, he has built up so much credit with me that it's no way he would lead us in the wrong direction. And even let's say your decision winded up not being the best, I also want to know that you are man enough to say to me, I messed up and I was wrong. Not going to change how this might have to happen on another decision. I really may have to concede to you again, but you're willing to see me as your equal partner. Although by this design, if it comes down to me or you, I will give to you if it makes more sense to. I think sometimes that's where this conversation gets out of whack. I think there's this misnomer that most women who take care of themselves, are single, and are independent don't want to be with a man who is a...
Okay, so when she was talking about the myth of the independent woman, because I've seen a lot of posts this week talking about independent women are difficult to submit in a marriage. They're difficult to be, you know, good partners. They're not good partners. And I think what this lady was saying is that if women can trust their partner enough to lead them into a healthy, happy life, a financially secure life, lead them in a positive direction, a lot of independent women will submit. Now, the problem is the trust becomes broken when either the man or the woman can't explain situations that one another don't understand. But once you can communicate on a level to understanding why a person did this versus why they did this and giving each other grace, then it will work. But in society, there's this stigma, the angry black woman, the strong black woman is just a stigma that is starting to stick to a lot of us, and there's a lot of men not wanting to put up with that myth or that, you know, rumor or whatever, but it is untrue. It's just a level of vulnerability and a level of trust that just has to be there before a woman will submit in a relationship. And I think that's what that lady was saying. What do you think, Trees?
I'm on it. Okay. So, being a single woman and being independent, women, we are naturally, you know, strong. And I think in order for a woman to be submissive, like, men have to allow women to be vulnerable.
Right.
They have to allow us to be submissive. What I noticed, like, just, you know, the different relationships that I've had and with dating, they always call, you know, black women the angry black woman. Well, to me, there's a such thing as an angry black man too. Because a lot of times what women experience is men that have trust issues, that have commitment issues, men that don't know how to love, that don't know how to be affectionate, that can't, you know, like, reciprocate what they're getting.
Right.
So, yeah, I think women want to be submissive, but you have to have somebody that knows how to lead, that's actually going to allow you to be in your feminine energy and just really, you know,
follow.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think, Carnell?
I definitely agree with that. As far as no matter how you know independent you feel that you are, how much you know, there's this woman out here that own businesses, is out here getting it, got multiple jobs, they're really producing. But a woman's nature is for them to be led by a leader, a real, I like to say alpha male. A lot of people get offended by that term, but by alpha male. And real men that look for that, they're not trying to be your boss. They just want to make sure that we're going a certain direction in our family.
Okay.
So that we can be successful.
Okay.
Like, you know, let's not argue about it. Let's go ahead and, okay, we want A, B, and C. Well, this is what we need to do to get there.
Right. Yeah.
And we're not going to be emotional about it. Because men, for the most part,
you're right,
aren't emotional.
You're right.
We sit there and be like this.
You're right.
For real?
You're right.
They
You're
said
right.
that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't care nothing about that, but I'm not going to tell her that she's emotional.
And you know what? Men are not emotional.
I'm glad you hit on
please
that.
allow the woman to be. Some men can be harsh too. Like when it comes to women, like seriously. Just,
and like you said, you want them to be able to act within their feminine energy. Please do.
Yes.
I know for myself. You know, I don't care how much you're making and how beautiful you are. I don't want no masculine female. Period. I'm gonna be just like this. Check this. Seriously. Now,
you know what?
You can be the bomb and everything else. See, I grew up with women, and there's a lot of women in my family, and so I know how to deal with women. And real men want women that's going to allow them to lead.
Right.
It's just there's a lot of soft dudes that aren't really leaders, and that's who's messing up the game for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that want to lie all the time and want to be players. We ain't got that much time for that. We ain't got time for that.
Okay. That too. What I noticed with men is they hold on to things like more than women do. With like trust issues and commitment and stuff like that. Like women can get hurt by 50 different men and still, you know, be open-minded, give a person a fair chance. But with men, it's like, nope, you know, because I know what women do. They sneak here. They gonna do this. They gonna do that. And it's like it does not apply to every situation. Every woman is not the same.
You have to come into every contract anew.
Yes.
So that's just like when you, I traded in my Escalade. Now I'm going with this Porsche. Okay, it's not the same contract. It's not even the same vehicle.
Mr. Davis says a man that can effectively lead should be able to grow and build with the right woman.
And he right, Mr. Davis. You know what? We got 4 minutes. We almost out of town. I mean, we almost out of time. But today, look, my cousin Carnell, he dropped a gem for all the ladies and all the men in the chat or just tuning into this. When, as women, some of us can get real angry and turn into somebody's whole man, okay? And so once a man sees that, they're going to be kind of intimidated and not really wanting to deal with you because a man doesn't want to be afraid of his woman. Right. A man doesn't want to, you know, they can understand, you know, if they hurt their partner or hurt their, you know, whoever they're in love with. But the way sometimes women react, it's not funny, but I have seen some women turn straight into a man when they're angry. Yeah. And so I think if a lot of women learn how to communicate their anger in their feminine energy, I think they'll be received well by their partner, but also be able to work through the problems faster.
I think it works both ways with men and women. The key is like finding a partner that really allows you to let down your, you know, to be vulnerable and to really be a good person. If somebody is putting me, you know, in that frame of mind where I'm like, you know, I'm on 10 and I'm angry and you're pissing me off all the time, goodbye, sir.
Yeah.
Because what kind of relationship is that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, relationships are to grow, buy homes, vacation homes, and vacation.
That's
like,
right.
So, like, what are we doing?
That's right. That's exactly right. That's the lifestyle I'm talking about.
All it takes is a conversation too. What I've noticed is that people switch relationships like they change their clothes.
Yeah, they do.
Sometimes, literally, it's just a conversation like, "Hey, I don't like your attitude. I don't like your approach. You came off a little aggressive, ma'am. This is what I'm gonna need from you." Mm-hmm. You know, it's that simple. Mm-hmm. And nowadays, if a person see one thing they don't like, I don't like the way she eat bread. I'm out. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. That's just crazy. Yeah. Well, we're gonna bring up the producer, y'all. We want y'all to check out Alfred's Affordable Motors, but it's called Alfred. The Alfred Brothers. It's out of Lincoln. We'll put all his D's in the chat for you guys to check it out. And it's on the Smartest Dumb People page. Their building and their phone number is right on it.
Come see us. We'll take care of you. Get you right.
Please check them out. Trees, have a good week. Everybody in the chat, have a good week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.
All right, guys. What I need for you guys to go ahead and do is go over to our YouTube page. Make sure you like,